Hi there, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Time to Draw with Mr. Shaw. Today we're going to be drawing one of my favorite childhood and adulthood characters. A lot of the kids in my class have seen him on my coffee mug, Kermit the Frog, my absolute favorite Muppet of all time. As always, you'll need something to draw with, something to draw on. If you get stuck, if I'm going too fast for you, pause the video, rewind it, watch it again if you need to. I'll start out with some simple shapes and then we'll get more detailed as we go along. So to draw Kermit the Frog, we're going to start with his head up here near the top of my paper. And he has a very interesting shaped head. It's almost like a diamond shape, but it's a little soft around the edges. So I'm going to start by drawing two lines, kind of like this, with a curve in the middle instead of a hard angle. Not quite like the edge of a square, but if a square had rounded edges, that's kind of the shape I'm going to draw. Then I'm going to draw a very similar shape down on the bottom, kind of like this. If you look at it in this direction, we can describe that shape as a diamond. But from this direction, if I turn my paper diagonally, it almost looks like a soft edge square, like a square with some rounded edges. But that's pretty much the shape of Kermit's head. So now I'm going to add in his two eyes. They're up at the top of his head, and they're not quite circle shapes. The top part of it's very, very round like a circle, but the bottom part of it's just a little flatter. It's almost like a semicircle or a dome. So I'm going to draw those shapes here and here, and then I'm going to erase that line that's going through the middle of his eyes, kind of like this. Now, Kermit the Frog doesn't have just little circles inside of his eyes, though that is a good place to start. I'm going to draw those two black circles first, but one of the things that makes Kermit really look like Kermit is that line that goes through the center of those circles. That line usually copies the same direction as these lines from the shape of his face, but you'll notice once you put those lines through the black circles, it's already starting to look like Kermit the Frog. Now I'm going to draw, starting just under this eyeball and stretching to just under this eyeball, a nice long curved line like this. That's going to be the top part of his mouth, that nice big smile. And then I'm going to put a little curved line on each end of that. Now instead of stretching that smile from this little pocket, that little dimple, all the way to the other side, I'm going to start his smile in just a little bit, starting right about here. And then I'm going to curve it right up to about here. I don't want it to quite touch in the corners here and here, but I got pretty close with that. So it's looking like Kermit the Frog so far. If you want to draw a curve inside here to look like his tongue, I think he looks pretty good. Now underneath, Kermit's neck doesn't really like a real neck. Just like a real frog doesn't have an actual neck the way that we think of them. Their heads kind of squish right into their body, but Kermit has this little collar made of triangles going all the way around where his head connects to the body. So I'm just going to draw 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles, all kind of pointing away from his head for that little collar that Kermit has going around his neck. Now if you end up coloring your Kermit after we're done, typically his face and the rest of his body would be a darker green, and this collar would be a slightly lighter, kind of yellowish green. Now, we could draw Kermit just kind of standing there, kind of hanging out, but I want to make it a little bit more exciting. Kermit the Frog is a performer. He's best known for his work on The Muppet Show. So I'm going to have him singing a song and doing a little dance. So his body is kind of like a long oval shape, but I want that to curve diagonally a little bit. I don't want it to be going straight down. I'm actually going to have it curving out just a little bit, kind of like this. And then when I draw his legs, Kermit has long, skinny legs. I'm going to draw 2 parallel lines. My 4th graders should know what those are, but parallel lines are 2 lines that go in the same direction without touching. So for this leg, his right leg, it's on our left, I'm going to draw those 2 parallel lines coming down like this, but then I'm going to bend his leg, and I'm going to have those lines curve back in this direction. I'm going to do a little curved line for the knee, down like that. And then I'm going to draw Kermit's foot. And to draw his foot, I'm going to draw a little curved line for his heel, just like we have a curved heel. And then I'm going to give him 4 little toes coming off the bottom of this. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll do 3 little toes. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Now for his other leg, I actually want that to be kicking up into the air. I'm going to erase this little line here. I want Kermit to be doing kind of like a kicking dance. So I'm going to draw those two parallel lines coming up in this direction this time. I'm going to bend his foot down just a little bit, bend his leg down like this with two more parallel lines, a curved heel, and then I'm going to have his three toes pointed up into the air, kind of like he's kicking. He already looks like he's doing a little dance, or he's falling off something. Whoa! The next thing I'm going to draw is this arm, and he's going to be holding a top hat. So I'm going to draw about the same width of his legs. He has nice skinny arms, nice long skinny legs. I'm going to draw two parallel lines coming down a little bit, and then I'm going to have them bend upwards like this. Now I want Kermit to be holding a top hat like a stage performer might wear. So I'm actually going to draw a little oval coming out like this. And that's going to look like Kermit's thumb holding on to that top hat. Then I'm going to draw the oval of the top hat like this, with another oval inside that I can color in a little bit. Now the cool thing about this is I don't have to draw Kermit's other fingers. It's just like if I hold this piece of paper, you can see my thumb, but you can't see my fingers behind it. So I'm going to do the same trick with Kermit's hat here. And then I'm going to draw two parallel lines and then a curved end like this, making his hat look like a cylinder shape. I can draw another curved line here, and if this was a black top hat, maybe this would be colored and this would be colored in, but maybe that little band could be red or purple or blue or even green if you wanted to match Kermit. Now for his other arm, I'm going to bend this one down like this with two parallel lines. I'm going to have his bottom part of his arm coming almost straight down like that, and then I'm going to draw a little fist for Kermit. I'm just going to do a bump for his thumb and a couple of little bumps for his fingers. And then I'm going to draw two more sets of parallel lines, kind of disappearing behind his hand here to look like it's holding on, the same way if I'm holding on to my pencil. You can see it peeking out here and peeking out here, but you can't see it where my hand is blocking it. So I'm going to do the same here, and then I'm going to curve it around like that, and then I'm going to end it on this side. I'll give it a little cap. Now it looks like a cane and a top hat, almost like he's doing a little tap dance on stage. If you want, you could add the rest of the setting to this. I could draw a nice horizon line for the floor here. If I pick one spot in the middle and have all of those lines on the floor kind of pointed towards that spot, I can make it look like that stage is made out of wood. Maybe there are some lights, some stage lights shining up here. Maybe he's singing the theme song to the Muppet Show or the Rainbow Connection, one of my absolute favorite songs. You could add some music notes to this. Make sure you're drawing them all going in the same or the correct direction, or Mrs. Pavlinick will yell at both of us. But however you choose to draw your Kermit, snap a picture of it, send it to me on Class Dojo if you're a Henry Johnson scholar, and as always, if there's something else you'd like to learn how to draw, put it in the comments below, and I'll add it to my list of videos. Stay safe out there, wash your hands, and I'll see you soon.